Hello, this is Pilot Hacks, and I'm Brent Owens. So let's talk about co-ownership, or partnerships as most people know them as. Now this is a really great way to save money. Partnerships are, obviously where several people get together and they co-own the airplane, and the expenses that go along with that are spread across the group. And boy, it really makes it inexpensive. Can also be really rewarding from a social standpoint too, because you kind of got a built-in infrastructure and a lot of camaraderie with the partners, and if you structure it right and you get the right people involved, there's usually never any conflict. So what a really great technique for saving money if you want to own an airplane. So the first tip we're going to talk about is selecting those right partners, and that's really the most critical step in my opinion. If you get the right players involved, you're going to have an awesome experience. If you aren't careful here and you just take the first guy that comes or gal that comes along, with a check and get them involved in the group, boy, I can tell you from experience that doesn't work well. So please take time and select the right kind of people. They need to be compatible with you, not only from a personality standpoint, but they have to be able to keep up, if you will, with the financial, obligations of the partnership. And to that point, we'll go to tip number 2, which is picking the right airplane. And this is pretty critical as well, because if you overbuy and some of the partners can't keep up financially, or it gets to be too much of a money pit or whatever, that can be problematic. So partnerships are great because they cut down, they fractionalize the cost of owning the airplane, but don't bite off more than you can chew. At the same time, make sure you are getting the right airplane for the mission. You don't want to get an airplane that doesn't satisfy, what you and the rest of the partners are trying to do. So, a lot of times partnerships can form out of folks that want a real specialized airplane, but can't really justify owning it, by themselves, and maybe they won't even fly it very often. Aerobatic airplanes are ones that come to mind here. Also sometimes maybe an IFR cross-country machine where maybe that's not their primary mission. So think about the airplane. It's an important ingredient in the whole thing. And tip number 3 is the written agreement. Now this is critical, because if you mess up tip number 1, you really need to have all this stuff written down. So if you get the wrong person involved in the partnership, then the written agreement or the contract will sort of be the arbiter of any disagreements if you structure it properly. So you can go out there. AOPA and some other outfits have some great sources for sample contracts. I actually have a pretty good post on this on fixedwingbuddha.com. It talks about the contract and that kind of thing. So you want to make sure you outline all the critical parts of the ownership agreement. That way everybody understands going in. It's nothing personal, no hard feelings, and it's all set up properly. And finally, the last sort of bonus tip I want to talk about is just do your homework. You just don't want to jump into a partnership, either an existing one or start your own, without doing the research that's required. This can be quite complicated. And again, it's great. I don't want to downplay that part of it, but you don't want to go in half-cocked and with just partial education about it. There's some legal ramifications, there's potential tax ramifications, obviously all the pieces that we talked about here. So you really want to do your due diligence on that side of it. But again, partnerships are an outstanding way to own an airplane and really, really, really cut down on the cost factor, and which will just make it more fun. You'll be able to fly it more, you'll have more money for avgas, and that's all good things. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this episode, I invite you to click the link below and head over to fixedwingbuddha.com, where you'll find all kinds of money-saving tips for pilots. Doesn't matter if you're learning, if you're already flying, if you're an owner, or you're actually building an airplane. All the bases are covered. You'll find all kinds of great tips over there, so go over and check it out, and thanks for watching.